It's beyond the rule of law. There are 30 men still held in Guantanamo. Only a few of them have even been charged with a crime. None of them have yet been tried. 16 of them have been cleared for release. One guy, as long as 14 years ago, was cleared by the U.S. government. They said, there's no credible evidence that you committed any crime against the United States. But yet, there he sits, because the U.S. has not been able to compel any other country to take him. And of course, they will not let him go home. We're here because this is a continuing outrage. With so many other outrages perpetrated by the system, I have to say, that are acutely bringing us down and worrying us right now with the possible fate of humanity. Today, we're marking these 22 years because humanity must speak up when people are imprisoned with no option to be represented, with no option to get out, with no option in most cases to even know what real charges were put against them. 30 men. We're going to introduce you to their stories today, because we're not looking at just a block of people. We're looking at individuals who had lives, who have families, who most likely, I hope, still have dreams and are thinking about the future of one day not being locked up in Guantanamo. And we are also here to think about the 700-some men, most of whom are still alive, who have been released from Guantanamo with a great deal of struggle. It took a lot to get these men free. It took lawyers who were willing to go back and forth to Guantanamo for weeks and months, to work without pay, pro bono. It took people being on the streets all over the world. It took their relatives and families a lot of heartache to get them out. And most of them were never released to their homelands. We have a situation now where the Guantanamo survivors, as we call them, who after all were released not having been convicted of anything or tried of any crime, and not having been apologized to for having been held as long as 20 years in prison. They've been released all over the world, often in places where they do not speak the language, where their families cannot visit them, and they have no basis or support to set up a new life. That is not the way it should be. If you want to live in a world where you can expect humanity, peace, and justice, which is what we are all demanding today with the closure of Guantanamo now. Who's here today? Well, I see people who have been very long campaigning against the injustices of Guantanamo with Witness Against Torture. I see religious activists with the National Campaign Against Torture, the National Religious Campaign Against Torture, the Catholic Worker, Pax Christi at all different levels. I see Veterans for Peace, I see Peace Action, I see the Redcoms, I see World Can't Wait. I know I'm forgetting people.
War Resistance League.
The War Resistance League is in the house. And we're here today as we get together every damn anniversary through 4 presidents. Bush, Obama, T-Rump, and Biden, who has none of them closed Guantanamo. Trump wants to expand it and put more people into it. And there's a lot of ignorance on the street about what all of this is about, so we do a lot of educating. We speak with people about how this developed and what's the basis to stop it. We all have our different ideas on that, and you're going to get exposed to some of that today. I'd like to ask Jeremy Verone from Witness Against Torture to talk a bit about this struggle, and we're also going to be interspersing musical performances by performers who have really come out over the years for Guantanamo and peace and justice. So Jeremy Verone.